Hi, this is Imran Iqbal presenting DBA 820 Fall 2020 Project 1 for Dr. Raising. I discussed the possibility of implementing flexible work arrangement FWA at Locus Innovation. And this presentation is warranted by the concern for high turnout of employees at Locus. Exit interviews show employee dissatisfaction primarily due to absence of work-life balance. We need to know whether offering the FWA will improve employee retention. I evaluate 2 systematic review articles on the impact of FWAs by applying weight of evidence and TAPUPAS. These assessment tools help me assess the quality of these reviews. The overall purpose is to know what these literature reviews reveal and the relationship about the relationship between the FWAs and employee satisfaction and retention. Then I offer the recommendations on whether and how to implement FWAs at Locus. This process of making a business decision comports with evidence-based management, of which I shall speak briefly. These are the major components of this presentation. Basic features of evidence-based management, basic features of systematic reviews such as steps involved, importance of rigor and transparency, appraisal of the 2 systematic reviews, conclusions, and recommendations. Evidence-based management means making professional decisions on the basis of best available evidence from academia. The assumption is that the academic research is relevant to managers. Evidence-based knowledge helps accountable policy making, deriving from generalizable knowledge produced with scientific methods. Systematic reviews are a cornerstone of evidence-based management research. Without it, the research will be partial, haphazard, and opinion-driven. It is a review of evidence on a clearly formulated question using systematic and explicit methods. It is transparent. It involves rigor in pooling and evaluating all available evidence to produce reliable findings because individual studies may be biased. Rigor and transparency are 2 important traits of high-quality systematic reviews. They enhance reliability and enable replication. Rigor is the essence of scientific work, the strict adherence to the truth, the disciplined application of reason, the methodical commitment to experimental procedure, and the structured way of planning, developing, analyzing, and evaluating. Transparency, another important trait of systematic reviews, indicates that the study has an explicit and reproducible methodology. Limitations are acknowledged, potential biases are noted, replication is possible, and the conclusions are credible. This table shows the 5 major steps of systematic reviews. Determine review questions, search for all relevant studies, set inclusion-exclusion criteria, assess quality, and synthesize results. Rigor and transparency, as noted above, are required at each of these steps. These are the 2 systematic reviews that are the focus of this project. I call them M&K and VDV respectively. Comparing generally, the M&K study found no definite link between FWA and performance-related outcomes, but found a link between FWA and employee satisfaction. Recent studies in it have found a direct link between FWAs and employee retention. Studies found conclusively positive impact of FWAs on reduction of absenteeism. VDV and colleagues, on the other hand, found that HRM resulted in employee well-being in terms of happiness and relationships at 74%. Employee health was found to be negatively impacted, or there were conflicting outcomes. The study was, however, not on point, not being about the impact of FWAs on employees. Benchmark, I used the weight of evidence and TAPUPAS dimensions. The former has three types on which generic or review-specific appraisals can be made. The Tapu Pause assesses along 7 similar dimensions. Type A of weight of evidence appraises on transparency, accuracy, accessibility, and specificity. Type B for purpositivity, and Type C for meeting legal and ethical requirements. Tapu Pause dimensions are transparency, accuracy, purposivity, utility, propriety, accessibility, and specificity. The concerns of Tapu Pause overlap with those of the weight of evidence. Here we assess the two articles based on weight of evidence A, the general quality. In the M&K study, the research question is clear and definite. The question is, what link exists between flexible working arrangements and performance outcomes? The literature search is comprehensive and transparent. The methods are defined. The search terms are clearly specified to narrow results. The search included both academic and grade literature. The authors identified search criteria, exclusion-inclusion rules, and communicated the reasons. They methodically analyzed the articles. This review is of high quality on transparency, accuracy, and specificity. Its methods are suitable to answer the research question. The end user can easily understand and use it. It is therefore high on accessibility also. To elaborate, my elaboration on this is that the authors explained how the research terms were originated, which databases were used, how the 900 search strings were formed, how gray and academic literature was searched, how cross-referencing and supplementary searches were made, and how final selection was made by reading abstracts and sometimes the articles. The initial sample was large, 256, reduced to 148 later when studies that lacked fit in foci or objectives were excluded. The time period of the research was fixed, but the research was continued for newer publication to add perspective. The final selection looked at the research question, the methodologies, and the ways of recording measures, findings, limitations, and conclusions. The authors assessed the studies by first defining FWA as choice of work arrangements offered to employees. The selection criteria also focused on employees' choice. Methodologies, levels of data, and foci were also considered in the selection. The authors clearly noted limitations such as the difficulty of generalizing findings due to differences in approaches and perspectives, difficulty of isolating variables of interest, and the fact that most studies did not study FWAs as a choice offered to employees or failed to study synergies of types of FWAs. The authors noted that the data quality was often weak, being secondary in nature. In the VDP article, on the other hand, the research question was general and open. It was, does HRM impact employee well-being and organizational performance as mutual gains or conflicting outcomes? The objective was vague. The relevance for us was low, as the research question sought to know the impact of HRM on organizational and employee-related outcomes rather than the impact of FWAs on these outcomes. The review thus scored low on transparency, accuracy, and specificity. It also had limited accessibility for business purposes due to difficulty of understanding the methodology. To elaborate, the authors considered HRM practices as combined practices and pooled various studies together, regardless of the types of HRM practices. Only quantitative studies were included. The research process was vaguely presented. The authors identified the subject areas of the research, but did not tell which databases or which search terms they used. The literature search was not comprehensive. It excluded gray literature and qualitative literature. Article inclusion was expanded by including articles with different purposes. There was an over-reliance on one article by usually the period of search began with its publication date, ignoring previous studies. No reason was given. They got only 36 studies. As they separated studies by study attributes, which were 5 of them, each group had even fewer studies. Most studies in it research relationships on the company level or business unit level. Only one article studied employee level. The authors acknowledge the limitation of the narrative nature of the review for accurate estimation of the size of relationship. So this review scored low on weight of evidence. On the weight of evidence B, purposivity, the M&K article passes. The research question matches our needs. The article by VDV does not pass. The research question is weakly aligned with the issues at locus. Mutual or conflicting gains are not our concern. Several limitations noted above prevented clear conclusions, making the systematic review of poor quality for the end user. On the weight of evidence C, both systematic reviews show high appropriateness in methods. No indication existed that authors tried to stretch findings to fit predetermined conclusions or acted inappropriately in any other ways. For the same reasons, under the topipause, the M&K article meets all 7 benchmarks. The VDV article does not, except for the benchmark of propriety. Since only the M&K article meets the requirements of high-quality systematic review, the bigger picture is that we draw our conclusions and recommendations from it. The M&K article's author said that they did not find a business case for the use of FWAs. However, most studies in it show a positive impact of FWAs on performance-related measures or show no link. Very few studies show a negative impact, and there is a definite link between FWAs and employee satisfaction. This study found that the studies in the literature review or systematic review found evidence that flexible workers were more likely than non-flexible workers to be very satisfied with their job. Employee perceptions of availability of FWAs also enhanced job satisfaction. That FWAs improve employee retention, organizational commitment, and worker performance. FWAs generally lower stress but may increase it with remote working due to less communication. So I offer here 3 recommendations. We should offer FWA to employees, the availability itself. We should offer FWA to employees, the availability itself might boost job satisfaction, as noted by some studies in the M&K article. We should, however, offer it in phases, letting employees get used to it and managers to remove any performance-related issues. We should adopt clear policies, ensure adequate communication and collaboration to remove possibility of increased stress in remote working. In other words, we should offer FWAs, but with caution. These are my references, and I can take any questions. Thank you very much.